Hey guys, welcome to the clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson, and today's review is gonna be on Gladiator 2. Okay, now, first Gladiator movie is a freaking masterpiece. It's an epic film. It's in my top 10 movies of all time. I friggin' love that movie. Did it need a sequel? Absolutely not. And when they announced it, I was kind of like rolling my eyes, like, this is ridiculous. But Ridley Scott was at the helm. Here he comes again. You got Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal. They stacked the cast a little bit, so I got a little excited for it. And the trailers, were kind of underwhelming, but I still thought it was looking good, so I had high hopes for this movie. And did it live up to the original? No, absolutely not. This was a terrible sequel to Gladiator, guys. I'm sorry, I don't want to say that, and I hate hearing myself say the words that not only were the trailers underwhelming, but this movie was underwhelming. I felt myself being bored in this movie, and I shouldn't feel bored in Gladiator 2. This movie should have been another epic. And it just wasn't. For one thing, they took away everything that was great about the first Gladiator movie. The first Gladiator movie had great writing. It had great acting. It had great cinematography. I mean, just everything, just pure gold after gold after gold after gold. This movie had none of that. It had zero heart. I didn't feel anything in this movie. The character development was piss poor. The fight scenes were lackluster and totally unremarkable. As soon as the fights were started, they ended. And the use of CGI for animals, yes, they had some CGI work on the tigers and stuff in the first film. But in this one, you got baboons, you got rhinos, you got sharks. Why, people? Why did you make this movie? Gladiator did not need a sequel. And that's what is disappointing about what went into making this movie. It did not need to be made. Gladiator should have stood on its own, because now you got this movie and it takes away everything great that Maximus did. Made it seem like, it just didn't matter what he did and what he fought for. And because his dream and his vision didn't get realized, or at least it got realized for a little while, but then went right back to the way it was. And now things are even worse in Rome. It's ran by these two cartoon villains trying to be emperors, and how these kids became emperors is beyond me. But they tried to act villainous, and they were not villainous at all. I didn't see them as a threat in the slightest. I mean, I wasn't worried about them, but they didn't have any, scary weight to them, like Commodus did. You feared him because he was just evil and power hungry. These were just kids like playing around at being emperor, I felt like. And the hero's motivation, a tragedy happens to him at the very beginning of the movie. And he's after this general who had nothing to do with it, really. He was just doing his job. I didn't feel what he was going for was even necessary. And then you come to find out that what he was going for didn't even matter. And I knew it didn't matter, but they spend the whole movie trying to make you feel like it matters, but it doesn't matter. And at the end, it didn't matter. And I was just totally twitching in my seat, because I was waiting for this movie to give me something, and all it did was make me feel disappointed. And that's not good. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad movie. It had some great moments, but it's not a great Gladiator sequel. And the Gladiator sequel that I was hoping for was supposed to be epic. I didn't expect it to be better than Gladiator, but I expected it to be at least on par with the original one. But the writing in this was terrible. There was some good acting moments at times, but some of the acting was lackluster to me. The motivations of Denzel Washington's character made no sense. And when he finally got what he wanted, it didn't feel earned. I just didn't feel anything in this movie, and I should have felt something. And I'm kind of upset about it, guys, that this movie was even made, and it was made poorly. And I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could talk better about this movie. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just a bad Gladiator sequel, and that just makes me upset. If this was titled anything else, I would have liked it. But since it was what it is, I don't like this movie, and I'll probably never watch it again. Very disappointing deaths of some characters, and I don't know. I when it was over, and it ends abruptly and in the stupidest way. The final seconds of this movie, they tried to make it like the final seconds of the original, and it failed. And when the credits started rolling, I literally was like, "What? What is going on? This is the end? This is how you're ending this movie?" I got up quickly and ran out. I was not happy at the end. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry I'm rambling on, and I'm sorry I'm giving kind of a bad review for this movie, but it's like I said, it's not a bad movie, just a bad sequel to Gladiator. So it's just very disappointing. But it's not all about what I think. What do you think? Have you seen Gladiator 2? Do you plan on watching it? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And as always, make yourself happy every day. And the only way to do that is to remember the only thing stopping you is you stopping. Bam!